So we're going to have our second AI presentation. So who's heard Natalie before? I was describing her to someone, and this is over a year ago, and I said, she's an assassin. Like, she is this marketing assassin who, I don't know, I met her 3 or 4 years ago, and she was killing it then. And it's impressive what she's done. And so,
thank you.
and this is kind of your new thing, right? AI's been something you really adapted to quickly.
Yeah, we've evolved super quickly. I mean, when you're in a marketing business, it's all about margins.
Yeah.
You hire more people, the margins go down. So I had to learn AI because I
Yeah.
want to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to you. Do you want this or not?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and move it here. Okay, sweet. So we've had a lot of really good presentations today about health, about wellness, about becoming just a better human being, right? Who wants to be a better human being? Yes, yes? Perfect. So what we're going to talk about today is the infusion between AI and you becoming a better human and how to use these tools together. So what we're going to be talking about is a term called Custom GPTs. What this basically means is it's going to be a tool that we're using within ChatGPT. This is something I believe every business needs in their tool belt, and we're going to break it down in 6 simple steps so you're going to get addicted to building them. So let's break this down. The Wi-Fi is a little bit choppy, so hopefully it bears with us today. Okay, perfect. So with the Custom GPT, there's 3 parts to it that we always want to consider. We're going to first define how it thinks, how it talks, and how we want it to help us. I have custom GPTs for everything. I have a life coach GPT, which I'll show you in just a moment. I have a personal trainer GPT that knows everything from my blood work, my weight, my goals, what I eat every single day, what my goals are if I'm fasting, how I want to break my fast. It makes basically all the decisions for me here. And so the last thing we want to consider with custom GPTs is the data that we're going to feed it to give it the context on how we want it to communicate with us. So whenever we think about ChatGPT versus custom GPTs, there's 3 things. ChatGPT is just a tool that you're using. Most people are using it every day. You start a new conversation, you ask it to write you an email, to revise a script, to give you a meal plan. But a custom GPT is something that you own. And it's also something that if you do it the right way, that you can sell to other businesses. So this is a potential just a small revenue stream or something you could use as a lead magnet in the future. Now, Raj had a great presentation yesterday showing you the overall view of how everything gets connected together with chatbots, with AI receptionists. That's whenever we start thinking bigger with strategic GPT systems. These are infrastructures that you scale, that they make decisions on its own. Custom GPT is going to be something you use in your everyday life. And the reason we don't want to use a regular chat versus custom GPT, ChatGPT has memory issues. It has a limited capacity on what it's going to remember, and then you're going to get that dreaded pop-up one day that says, you ran out of memory. Let's forget everything we've worked on for the past 6 to 12 months. And it breaks your heart. It feels worse than a breakup. So custom GPTs are going to fix that. What you'll also notice if you're only using ChatGPT as a tool to starting conversations is that it's going to get dumber the longer conversations you have with it. And you're going to get frustrated. You're probably going to start cussing it out. And then you're going to go to Claude or some other Gemini or something like that. Something also with regular GPT is that you're always going to have to tell it what to do versus it intuitively knowing how to do it and the results you're expecting. So we see that there's some giveaways whenever you're writing content for with ChatGPT. There's that M dash, or it says, if this, then that, or X is this is that. And it has those sentence patterns that we want to completely avoid so we can stay authentic to our voice and ourselves. Now, with the custom GPT, it's going to be specifically built on you. And the hardest part with setting these up is going to be the beginning. So we're going to talk about how to collect this data in an easy way and how to organize it so you can train it across multiple different platforms. It's something that you're going to build once and use it on repeat, give it to your team, use it on repeat. Another example of how I use this is every single sales call we have is analyzed and uploaded into our custom GPT with any new products we have, any new offers we have. So that way, any marketing material, sales pages we're creating, it can reference that. The best marketing is what your clients are telling you, so why not use it? It can also be used for sales conversations. So some of our sales agents, they're on a call, they're like, what do I say? There's so much going on. They can type in the question and it'll give them an answer because we have frameworks already built into there. So you can customize this to your business however you want, and you can get as creative as what you want on what you want to create with the custom GPT. So there you go. Wi-Fi issues. This is great. So no. All right. There's 3 custom GPTs that you can create. The first one is the one that we're going to build together today, which is your core GPT. This is going to understand, let's say we have Dan, right? We have Dan. We're going to extract all of his Facebook posts because we want to understand exactly how he communicates. I want to know his story. Maybe I'll even upload his books into there so I can understand his writing style as well. So your core GPT is understanding your frameworks, your methods, your experience, your methodologies. So it can have basically a licensed version of your brain in this GPT. So when we're not going to come across a problem of putting out content where we don't know what it says, because everything that's uploaded into there is something you've already said, done, or experienced. So it's going to be specifically customized to you. Now, if we're thinking about this from a business perspective, such as real estate, let's say you are a real estate investor, you've done 10 deals, you have all of the underwriting worksheets of that, you can upload that with all your experience, add the context of, I got this deal from a cold call, this is what happened, XYZ, and now it's getting trained on your buying process, fully customized to you and the deals that you've already worked through. So this can work for any kind of business. The second type of GPT is supporting the core GPT. So these help with your intellectual property in specific ways. How do I use this? A big part of what we do, so quick background, so we build AI systems for companies to attract, nurture, and close leads. A lot of what we do starts with content creation because every business needs to be on social media. With that, there's different formats of content, but the formats of content are always going to start with long form videos. So I'm going to ask you, hey, record a 5 to 10 minute video about something that happened in your life today. Or maybe you're a fitness coach. Talk to me about a call that you had with a client or whatever that is. What we're going to do is we're going to put that into Core GPT and then funnel that into, let's say, a talking head script, a B-roll script, a carousel script. A carousel is on Instagram, the ones that are swiping, or something on LinkedIn where it's specifically formatted to get that attention with one line in each line, one sentence in each line. So we'll have a support GPT specifically trained on how LinkedIn posts are formatted, and you can connect them together. The third type of GPT is a growth GPT. This is something you can use as an asset and sell to other people. You can use this for lead magnets, low ticket products. If you're speaking on stage, you can say, hey, if you want this custom GPT that I built with all my knowledge and all my experience, here it is. So if you're a real estate investor, you could give away a custom GPT that will underwrite or analyze your deals for you. Fitness coach, let's say you're somebody who helps people with fasting and you have a specific fasting framework, that custom GPT will be specifically trained on that. And so if the Wi-Fi allows us, I want to show you what this actually looks like. Okay, great. Good thing I already preloaded everything, so we're halfway through the step.
Tapped into the Holiday Inn. Yeah.
Yes. So this is an app called Pickaxe, and Pickaxe basically allows you to create a paywall between your client and the custom GPT that you're building, right? So this could literally be anything. If you wanted to create a onboarding process for your team, it's going to go through this. So this can be used in multiple different ways, but there are platforms that allow you to fully monetize these AI models that you're creating, which basically is selling everything that's in your brain. So it's a huge win here. Something I also wanted to touch on is just how powerful these custom GPTs are becoming, or just generative AI. Generative AI is all of the platforms that you're using right now, Claude, ChatGPT. Last year, the way people were using AI is completely different to how they're using it now. Last year is mainly on generating ideas, a little bit of therapy, specific research, like asking things you would ask Google. This year and onward, therapy and companionship and organizing your life and finding purpose are the top 3. These are very emotional drivers that people are using AI for. So if you're creating or thinking about creating a custom GPT, now you know what problems to solve for your audience. This is insane. If you're not using ChatGPT to just organize your life, I'll show you exactly how to do that with the life coach that I built after we go through these 6 steps. Pickaxe. So with training a custom GPT, there's 6 steps. And the way that I want you to think about this is take pictures of the screen. I'll give you a resource at the end, but it's almost like learning how to drive a car when you have a Tesla. You still want to learn, what the speed limits are, how to, manage the wheel, how to hit the gas and brake, but the car is going to drive itself, right? We're going to use ChatGPT to train it, but you still need to understand the fundamentals and the critical thinking behind it so you're doing everything correctly. So still using your brain like 20%, okay? So the 6 steps of this are define the assets role, install the logic, add value guardrails, layer the intelligence, feed it into the real world, and then figure out how you want to scale or systemize this. Let's go through each step. I promise it might seem like this crazy thing, but it's going to be super simple at the end of this, and all the pieces will plug together. Phase 1, defining the assets role. So think of this as writing a job description for somebody that you're looking to hire. You need to figure out what you want them to do, what position you're looking for them to serve, and what they should prioritize. The goals, the outcomes, any constraints. So an example format of this would be you are a X, specialize in X outcome for X audience. An example for how we trained our Carousel GPT to write all of our carousels for Instagram for all of our clients. We tell it, you are a senior level carousel copywriter trained in conversion psychology, narrative structure, and formatting systems. You specialize in writing emotionally grounded Instagram carousels for coaches and consultants. Very, very specific on the level of, cognitive awareness that it needs to have. I don't want it to be my best friend. It needs to lead me. The second step is installing the logic. So let's say if you want it to do this, then it needs to give you this specific output. ChatGPT will naturally do this for you, but you're basically creating shortcuts with keywords. So now whenever I upload a long form 30-minute transcript into this GPT, I'll just say long form. And it does everything. So I don't have to type out a full script. It knows exactly what I want. I could even make the keyword as simple as eggs, and it'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So what it also does is we want to make sure it's prioritizing the right things and it's detecting what the user is doing. So the user might be you, it might be a team member. Every single person needs to have the same results. So it creates that consistency. Example of this would be use conditional logic to guide your actions. If the input is X, do this. If uncertain, ask questions. Do not assume. ChatGPT is always going to assume unless you tell it not to. It's literally a robot. So with us, like I mentioned, we say long form. It takes that long form, pulls a couple of different messaging angles from that, and then it helps us create a carousel. A little bit of background is we basically exported like 400 Instagram carousels, analyzed them, researched the patterns all through AI, and then trained it through this. Do it one time, we don't ever have to do it again. Phase 3 is adding the value guardrails. So I don't want it to hype me up. I don't want it to be my best friend. I need it to be very logical and strict. So with this, we're setting the standards for 3 things: the tone and the language, the structure and the formatting, and anything that we want it to completely avoid. So the penalties, basically. We're using the CPR process for AI, just like a human. So what we use for our Carousel GPT is never use mere reversal statements. Do not use em dashes, and always use 2 to 3 full paragraphs per slide, grouped logically. CTAs must appear on the last slide. Avoid punchy guru style one-liners. So oftentimes, whenever you're using just a general GPT, it's going to go to those settings. We want to avoid that, so this is going to help us do that. And we'll go through an example in just a moment. Phase 4 is layering intelligence. So this is basically reiterating what we're doing in phase 2, where we're just making sure, even if we say something completely messy, I'm driving, walking, getting groceries, and I'm trying to write a to-do list to ChatGPT so I can do it later, and maybe it doesn't make sense, it's going to try to interpret that, looking for the goals that I have, that we've set it to do. So it only has maybe 5 responsibilities or goals. It's going to try to put it in a bucket and ask for confirmation behind that. So phase 4, we got phase 5, feed it into real world context. So there's a couple of tools that we're going to use here. I think some of them, specifically 2 of them, are going to be pretty crazy. So number 1 is screen share recordings, loom.com. Let's say you are training your custom GPT to know your life, your story, everything about that, so it can write content about you. And maybe it gets something wrong. It says that you were born in 1990 whenever you were born in 1995, right? You got to really catch that and update that. If you just tell it in a conversation, it's not going to remember. So we need to create a Loom recording with all of that updated information. So Loom recording, you can also use Descript. To package your intellectual property, some other tools that you can use are, of course, Notion or Google Sheets. I highly recommend Notion, and I want to show you why. So this is our basically company dashboard. Everything that we do research on, everything that we have a conversation with ChatGPT that we find is valuable, we put it into here. And at the bottom, you'll see we have an asset library. No matter what, you want to have a digital notebook to keep track of the important conversations you're having. If you have a conversation with ChatGPT, just a normal one, and it says something really good, save it somewhere externally. The reason we use Notion is because it has a built-in AI, and so now it's analyzing every single thing that we've done, and we can have a conversation with it. So it's AI, layered into AI, layered into AI. So with our Carousel prompts, this is our Carousel bot training here. You can see how long it is. And this is all the research that we did into here, right? I didn't type that all out. I used ChatGPT to train my ChatGPT, right? Not doing the crazy hard coding or anything. Formats that we recognize the patterns, that's a separate document just in case we need to update it. If trends go in a different way, we can go ahead and look at this document here. Okay. Oh, let me show you this one as well. So let's say that you are training this to be a mindset coach for you. And one of your favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. You can go to this app called oceanofpdf.com, and it allows you to download any book off the internet. oceanofpdf.com. You can download any book, any resource. If you want to download, I don't know if Gary Brecka has a book, but if he has a book, you want to create a biohacking GPT, you can upload it into that. If you want to, we created an offer bot. So if anybody here know Alex Hormozi, you heard of him? Okay, a few people. He's built a $100 million business, and he has a book called $100 Million Offers. So we created an offer bot using his book as part of our resources.
So you said you have to upload the book, or it actually has the book?
So this has the book right here. And so you'll download the book. You can get it in Spanish too, apparently. And what we're going to do here, we'll upload it somewhere. We'll show you in the next slide where that goes.
If it doesn't have the book, you can upload your own.
Exactly. You can upload your own resources. Let's say you have your books and you want to upload them all. Maybe you have digital copies. You can just upload them into there. So a couple more resources I do want to mention is glasp.co. So let's say you watch a really good Patrick Bet David video. You guys know Patrick Bet David, Valuetainment? Few people, Grant Cardone, whoever you watch, right? So let's say you watch a really good video. He made some crazy points. It's stuff that you want to implement into your business. You can use glass.co. And what it's going to do is, let's see if we can go to, it's going to automatically show up on every single YouTube video if you want to copy the transcript and add it to your GPT. And so you can create a digital notebook of your favorite YouTube videos now. I'm going to skip sharing it just in case the Wi-Fi goes a little crazy. So we'll go back here. Digital notebook. So it can be transcripts, transcribe them with descript.com. descript.com. And what you're going to do with this is we're using it as a digital extension of your thought process. So again, for our Carousel GPT, we say, analyze the top 25 carousels in this folder, detect emotional pacing, CTA placement, syntax rhythm, and use the pattern to generate new slides. For you, it might look like refer to this uploaded data, identify pattern, structure, and phrasing, use the data as your primary source when generating outputs. Then we go into phase 6. Now that we have all of these assets put together, now we can put them into one place. Now, our goal is not to just create one smart GPT, because it just seems like the more you rely on one, the dumber it gets. So we want to have an arsenal of tools. It's like having one assistant. You want to do everything in your business. Let's break it up into specialized skill sets. So go ahead and pull out your notebook and just, if you have any ideas of custom GPTs that you want to build, we'll go through exercise in just a moment and I'll pick on one of you to see who we can pick. So let's go ahead and show you what the back end of this looks like whenever you're training a custom GPT. So I think it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Okay, sweet. This is what it looks like. So this is my life coach GPT. It's trained on a couple things. The first thing it's trained on is the 1,000-minute rule, which aligns a lot with Jim, with Jim's 6 days, 6 day a day, right? Jim. Okay, got it. So 6 days a day, 1,000-minute framework is just very similar concept. You have X amount of time a day. The way you break it up is in 6 days. That's a certain amount of minutes per day. It's going to help you organize your day. Every single day I start, I have a conversation with my life coach on my progress that I had last week. I'll do an audit of my progress next week and what I need to do today. That way I'm always working on my business and not just in my business. So it has my goals into here. I also did have a conversation with it about my 1 to 5 year action plan, where I want to be. So that makes sure that every decision I make is aligned with that. Because I'm ADD, I forget. I have a million goals. If I don't have someone holding me accountable, like, it's just not going to happen. And somebody who doesn't judge me, I'll say that. So
It get personal when you talk that. Right?
Yeah, it does. And it's like, you're having a great day. Okay. So it's trained on everything into here. I uploaded some resources, business goals, business models, and so I can have any conversation with it, and it has that context built into it. I have a separate one for my fitness because I like to track my calories. I started weighing my food, and I need it all in one place, and I just need to have a conversation, and it's less about kind of the calories, the input, but more about I want to know the food that's going into my body. Once I started tracking it, I was like, I thought I was eating healthy, but like calories are a lot more than I thought. Like I was just eating way too much, honestly. I had no idea. So it definitely helped me start training that. So going back to that, with a knowledge base, you can upload up to 20 files, and each file can be the size of a Harry Potter book. So you can upload a lot of data into this. It's insane. So you can also have it activate some features, but the ones I recommend are just the web search in the code interpreter. I hate the canvas. You might have seen the canvas if you're using ChatGPT. It's whenever it has that pop up on the side. The reason I don't like it is because it typically shortens the responses. I want the in-depth answers. I don't want it to cut out anything. So I usually deactivate that. Perfect. So you can always go in there, update it, change it, model it. It's always important to have it saved in your digital notebook like I showed you on Notion. So with the updates, you can track them because ChatGPT is not going to track them for you. So just have it somewhere externally. Perfect. Now, does anybody have a custom GPT idea? Yes? Go for it.
I do. I'd like to take some of my content, like even like practice and virtues, and put it into a newsletter format.
Sweet. So we have this tool here. Maybe, like I said, we're driving a Tesla, but we still need to learn how to drive a car just in case things crash. So we have this tool here called Feeddo. And what we're going to tell it is, I have Facebook posts, books, and other resource materials. And I want to create a 10-day newsletter plan. Or let's say 10-week newsletter plan every week. Right, this is super basic prompt. What it's going to do is it's going to take this prompt and it's going to generate a more elaborate prompt that's going to get you a stronger answer from GPT. So this is what it'll look like. You are a seasoned content strategist who's been crafting engaging newsletters for various audiences for over 15 years. Your expertise lies in X. Your task is X. And so it gives it the structure. So this is a huge cheat code for the term prompt engineering. Just use this website called Feeddo, and it'll build it for you. The less work you do, the better. And so what you would do, Dan, is you would basically copy and paste this and put this into your GPT that you already trained on yourself. Easy. Now,
Pickaxe.
this is through Feeddo right here. Good question. So, this is pretty powerful. So another reason we want to have a digital notebook to keep track of all of our prompts is so we can use this across different platforms. Mm-hmm. So let's say you like ChatGPT, but she likes Claude, right? You can train it on all the same information by sharing the knowledge that you've already built or all the data that you've already collected, the books you've already saved with the exact same prompts, and it may give you different responses because the platforms act a little bit different. Pickaxe is very similar, but this is specifically if you're looking to sell this as a service or sell this as a product. So let's say you want to sell Dan's brain. Maybe you want to sell your intellectual property. Maybe you want to, let me see if I can show you an example. So wellness. So clinically backed positivity powered by AI, right? Super fun. Education. They created a push AI studio to help, I guess, kids learn stuff. Ninjas, empathy building. So it's almost like having a course, but it's just ChatGPT conversations guided, right? Typically you just copy and paste the prompts, and you might have seen this like last year where people were giving away 100, 500 prompts that you need for your business. It's just way too much. Like, I'm not going through all of that. This is solving that problem now. So instead of saying, hey, here's 500 prompts, hey, I actually did all the work for you, did all the research, just go through this and you'll get the same results, right? So these are great for lead magnets, digital products, selling parts of your services. If you're in real estate, you can install like an underwriting tool, analysis tool based off your specific strategies or whatever. So going back to this, we're using Feeddo to generate prompts. We are using Ocean of PDF to download resources to train our GPTs. And we're going to start off by using ChatGPT to train it. And this is what this process is going to look like. Update, save, and now you can talk to it every day, share it with your team as needed. Now, let's go back. What you'll see here is I have an insane amount of custom GPTs built. This is only just a fraction of them. So if I wanted to write a newsletter, an email, we have over 500 emails analyzed into here, so it knows the structures and all of that sort. And this is very general. So we share this with all of our clients. But what's cool about this is that you can connect them together. So I have this email copywriting GPT, and I can just press the @ sign. I can tag my business assistant into here. And I can have a conversation saying, great. Let me just click on one of the buttons. Create a newsletter about the mindset shift around visibility. Sweet deal. So now it's going to write an entire email for you. And then you can have a conversation on how you might want to make it custom to you.
So you're building your custom GPTs within ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is the number one.
Because my eyes can't see every detail up there on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to clarify because you're going through some great information really fast, and so I'm just asking a couple.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for asking.
She is an AI.
Yeah, and I use this a lot. But I just want to be sure. I'm just trying to connect the dots and be sure. So how do you tell it that when you say I'm building my own, and do you on the ChatGPT page where you create your life coach, so you're just relabeling those on the side as.
Yep. So what you're going to do is on ChatGPT, make sure you have the pro version. Click on Explore GPTs.
Click on what again?
Explore GPTs right here. And this is all recorded. I know it's a lot of information. So we're going to, if you want this information, just let me know. It's all recorded. We'll send it over to you. Alrighty?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Recorded it on purpose, just in case.
Kyle will send it.
Yeah, I got it.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. But to create a custom GPT, you're going to go to Explore GPTs, press Create, and it'll automatically take you to this here. And this is where you start plugging in the information. We do have a training on this step by step. So if you want that, that'll be all at the end. But this is what it looks like, all blank and clear. You can also just have a conversation with chat here. Sweet. Always start with ChatGPT. It's easiest to learn.
Are you going to be down for a Masterclass today?
Yes.
I know you're in the.
Do you have questions?
So you don't, okay, cool.
Okay, sweet. So these are just some ideas of custom GPTs that you can build. The first one's always the hardest, just like going to the gym is always the hardest. Driving a car for the first time is always the hardest time. So here are some ideas. We have lead generation GPTs. You can create a market research analyst, lead magnet generator, qualifier bot, niche positioning assistant. The ideas are endless with creating custom GPTs. Content creation, you can have one that specifically writes hooks for you. You can have one writing your captions, we definitely have one. Repurposing content. I recommend using these as well compared to just using those simple automations, because this is going to create a custom solution based on your own experience. Operations GPT, let's say you're going through a process of hiring people. You can create one for drafting SOPs, checklists, internal processes, guiding the onboarding for clients, whoever it is.
If you use that kind of concept for something like that, would you use that instead of like a sonnet, or would you upload it into a sonnet?
Good question. So these tools can be used congruently, but let's keep them separate to start off with, because it can be confusing connecting everything together. I want you to learn how to use them first before getting into the tech. So you saw Raj yesterday talked about the tool N8N. It's an automation tool. It's a little intimidating if you're not techie or you've never kind of gotten into that world before. So let's understand these individual platforms first. So what you would do is you would create an operations GPT. It'll give, let's say you're creating SOPs for a new hire, right? It'll create it, it'll map it out for you. All you'll have to do is copy and paste it into Asana and assign it to a team member. Once you have that process down, then I recommend you getting into the automations and streamlining it. But one step at a time, it's very, very easy to get overwhelmed with this side. Just to make sure this is super easy for you guys to start off with, we do have a cheat sheet guide. So just scan the QR code. It's going to give you a cheat sheet. We're also rolling out with this recording, some additional recordings to walk you through it, ABC. Again, once you learn how to build one, you're going to get addicted and you're probably going to build like 10 or 15. Super easy to use.
We'll take a few questions, but you'll do a masterclass?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go deeper into it.
Who has a question for Natalie? And again, some of this is like, how do you build a watch? So some questions we might have to skip, you know?
Yeah.
When were you first introduced to this technology? Like now? And do you know Austin Armstrong?
I don't think I know Austin Armstrong, and I got introduced to AI as a whole probably mid to end of 2023. We were going through the process of just hiring and firing, and I got annoyed and tired of it. So that's why I started playing with AI to figure out how can I streamline and automate specifically like the copywriting side of the business. And it's completely done now.
I remember last year it was May and we connected.
Yeah.
And you were all over AI. I mean, she was.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, she was pretty in depth then. So, yeah.
I literally use it for everything in my life, like therapy, business coach, life coach. I'm not even being dramatic. It's my number one supporter.
So after January 31st, she did the presentation at the house. I said, could you tutor me? And so she did. We did one afternoon, and it was so powerful because this stuff's so intuitive, right? It's just getting started.
Yeah.
And so creating all these projects, almost daily, I'm creating some kind of project.
We were talking earlier about, we were talking earlier about inputting ideas that they would be intuitive, but also be original, that I wouldn't have to look up my own work and figure out that it's me.
Exactly, yeah. Again, a big part of what we do is content, and we want to start with original ideas. It's very easy to go down that rabbit hole of just like automating every part of it, but I believe in influence and communicating your word and the human connection or the human in the loop concept, specifically with content. So
before we move on though, to stay on that, so I was asking Raj yesterday, on the content, do you think you're penalized on a newsletter? Because you're using a lot of AI.
Oh yeah.
So do you think that's hurting? Is that getting caught in spam filters? Are there ways to clean that up?
Yeah, good question. So there's going to be a couple of things we want to avoid. So mirror phrasing, this is going to be an example of if this, then that, and this, but that, or it's about X, not about X, right? You see that a lot with whenever you start using AI. We want to avoid those phrases.
And so you tell it not to?
Yeah, so we have all of ours trained not to use those phrases or like those sentence structures. And also avoid M dashes. So like this is like the double dash that they constantly use with everything.
So no M dashes.
No
You're
M
just
dashes.
giving it, so because I think on that tutoring you did with me, it was creating a conversation with it, right? And you just kept, but you also said that might make it dumber eventually.
It does.
If you go too deep into it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's so important to create a custom GPT. So like the next step with you would be, let's upload any resources, a couple videos, let's do an interview, and put all of that into the knowledge base. So that way it has that context. And so when you start new information, you're not starting from zero anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so two things. One, I'm still just getting done compared to what I thought it was. But so custom versus the more I use it, the dumber it gets, versus having enough knowledge custom GPT where it maintains the knowledge. I missed that. How does that work again?
Yeah, so let's show you what that looks like. So you're having a conversation with GPT and you're starting from scratch. It's getting dumber. You've probably experienced that. With the custom GPT, you're going to make sure you have the ChatGPT Pro version, $20 a month, not the $100 or $200 one. You don't need that. You're going to go here on the side where it says Explore GPTs. You're going to press Create. And all the 6 steps that we walked through, that's what you're going to start training this with. So if I just want to do this preliminary, right, I want to say, I'm Kyle Wilson.
Don't Google that, okay? Let's use a different name.
Okay,
I'm Ruben Salazar. No.
Will you say here? How we not anything here. We're start the question. So AI to create a circle. You need to make sure it's right when Tesla, right? You know which way is the right way and different things like that. That's why we want to understand the 6 steps so we have that baseline whenever we're building this, so it actually gives us good answers. So you're going to come here, and this is where you're going to go through and train it so you're not starting from zero every single time.
And so basically from now on, anytime I want sales thing, I go here, I don't go to the regular.
Exactly.
I go right through my customer.
Are you
Exactly.
That pulls the history.
Are you
100%.
the premium?
Yes.
Yep, so if I want to start, let's see here.
Yeah.
We'll go to the offer bot that I have. So let's see here. Okay, so we have the offer bot. Anytime I want to start a new conversation, I'm doing an offer audit or something with a client, I can just press start now while it loads. And it's going to start the conversation or the interview process.
And you created that offer bot.
Yes, this is the offer bot I created.
But you created that. That's something you created. Right?
Yep, this is a custom GPT I built. And this is the one I uploaded someone else's book into it because that's what I studied, right? If I studied something, I'm going to upload it into here so it has the same context as I do. You don't have to start from scratch. So it's going to start asking a series of 10 to 12 questions, get clarity on the offer, and then it's going to build everything for me.
Eric?
So one comment, one question. So after I heard you in January, I went back and I am never going to do any of this stuff because that's not the highest and best use. But I went back and I have a team of VAs and my, administrative assistant. So we changed a whole bunch of stuff within our operations already from January.
Good.
Now I'm looking at this saying, shit. So the question is, how do we plug you into like my team? Like what would that cost? Or
Yeah, good question.
we're never going to keep up. with
It's
this.
less than 100,000, I think.
think.
It's less than 100,000.
Per year. That's good.
Yeah. So, we have a similar situation. I'm working with a jewelry company right now who has executive assistants that we're training on specifically the content system. So with her, we're working together as a consulting, $3,500, 3 months, accelerator program. Then if let's say it's an individual who's maybe a solopreneur, we have a $97 community where we're just updating everything that we're doing with AI into that. Now, if you want to actually hire me and my team, that starts off at $5K a month, where we're basically your business development team installing AI into your business.
See, I've got the people that are qualified to do this.
Mhm.
I cannot go back from here and explain to them.
Is that the 3,500 or is that the 5?
That would be the 3,500. We'll just train your team to do everything, make sure it's good, audit your business, give them the systems to install, and just make sure they're actually doing everything correctly.
I do like the directness. Like, there's no stumbling on that. Like, she has it down. She's got it figured out. So
I would
That's
spend
interesting.
so much more than that in time and labor and lost revenue that I'm trying to figure out. And
Yeah.
by the time we figure it out, it would be different anyway.
and she can objectively tell your team and
Yeah.
tell you
Right.
who's for real, who's not for real, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Potentially.
it's even hard for us to keep up with AI. It's moving so fast. So, I mean, I have mentors I'm looking at. They're moving 10 times faster than I am. So,
Well, you need we need you to come in on Saturday.
I have the same question for you I had for Raj yesterday, which is, when it produces a PDF
Yeah,
or a
I had
Word
that
doc,
too. Down. Yep.
You specifically have one under Carousel. I can never get a Carousel to work within chat.
definitely just copy and paste it, right? It's
Okay.
very unreliable in that way. However, Claude does a great job at that. Claude is amazing. So, we personally use Claude for copywriting, content, longer form things. We use ChatGPT, like our carousels with ChatGPT, because if you're familiar with carousels on Instagram, they're basically just reels, but in pictures, right? So it's basically just short form content in a different format. So that's why we just keep it onto here.
But
You're not creating, personal chat GPTs within, you're not creating personal GPTs within Claude though. You're just.
Yes, you can. So let me give you a preview of that. Let's see here. So you have to have Claude Pro, $20 a month one. So let's see here. So on the side, it's going to have, let me zoom in. Great. Can everybody see this okay? Yes. Okay, good. On the side, we have projects. So I'm going to click on projects. I'm going to click on our business. Great. So it's going to be almost identical to ChatGPT. So we're going to upload all here. Let me just zoom out just a little bit so you can see. So this is typically all our docs uploaded, and then we have some prompt here with all of our offers, all the information. So that's why we use Notion as our paste or download based on different models.
So you're going to do a masterclass, right?
Yes.
Because we're going to wrap up here in a second. But I do have a stock market question. So I will say this. So back in the internet days, I really believed in the internet, but I also believed what Jim Cramer said about all the internet stocks. And they, everything he said to buy in 2000 went to zero eventually, except a few. And so with crypto, I would tell Ron that. I'm like, I believe in blockchain, I just don't believe in most of the cryptos because AOL was great until they invented a better solution.
Right.
Yahoo was good until Google came along. So who's to say that Ethereum's going to be the king of that particular problem thing? So I was looking at buying Claude because I really am trying to buy AI, all of that. What do you think about the company?
Amazing.
So Claude
Yep.
is,
Yeah.
it's the best of the best for what it's doing at the moment.
I would say it's not the best of the best, but it's second runner up to ChatGPT.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. And I put the distinction there, context, in case you guys similarly are wanting to buy these stocks. I think it's kind of a no-brainer on a couple of them, like NVIDIA, things like that. All right, anything else? Let's give Natalie a huge hand.
Great.
I think we'll just jump straight into master classes.